Observe the following photographs. Drag and drop the appropriate photograph into the table provided. Well done! Paramecium and amoeba are unicellular organisms. Man and hamster are multicellular organisms. All organisms are composed of cells. However, organisms can either be unicellular or multicellular. Unicellular organisms consist of only one cell, whereas multicellular organisms are composed of more than one cell. At the end of this lesson, a student will be able to state the necessity for cell specialization in multicellular organisms as compared to unicellular organisms. Describe cell specialization in multicellular organisms. Describe cell organization in the formation of tissues, organs and systems in multicellular organisms. Let's observe the differences between unicellular and multicellular organisms. Click on the amoeba to start animation. The amoeba respires. The amoeba moves around and searches for food. The amoeba engulfs the food and digests the food. The amoeba excretes its wastes. Where do all these processes take place? Being a unicellular organism, the amoeba carries out all of the life processes within its cell. Now, click on the multicellular organism. Observe what happens. Where does the intake of oxygen take place? The intake of oxygen occurs through the respiration process. Does oxygen diffuse into all the cells as in the amoeba? No, oxygen does not diffuse into all the cells. Multicellular organisms are made up of millions of cells. Diffusion of oxygen from the exterior to all the cells would be much too slow and inefficient. So the cells are divided into groups so that each group will take care of one particular function. In other words, they have become specialized in their functions. This process is called cell specialization. All the different groups of cells will interact and cooperate with one another to keep the cells in the body in the best possible state. By dividing out the work among these specialized cells, the multicellular organism can accomplish a higher level of efficiency. Now that you know the necessity for cell specialization, let's look at some examples of specialized cells. Observe the shapes carefully and then drag and drop them to match the description of each type of cell. Well done. Muscle cells are long, spindle-shaped. They can contract to become short and thick. Nerve cells have very long cytoplasmic extensions to conduct nerve impulses. Cells in xylem vessels form long tubes in plants for conducting water from roots to leaves. Sperm cell needs a tail to swim in order to meet the female gamete. Red blood cells flattened biconcave shape, which increases the surface area of the cell, enables a higher diffusion rate of oxygen. Sclerenchyma cells are angular thick-wall cells that give the plants rigidity. Specialized cells do not work alone. They are grouped together and organized into more complex structures that are found in multicellular organisms. When the same specialized cells are grouped together to carry out a particular function, they are called tissues. Different tissues combine to form more complex structures called organs. An organ usually has a particular function in the organism. The heart, for example, pumps blood to every part of the body. The blood, which is rich in oxygen, is needed for the survival of the organism. The heart functions to serve as a pump that allows blood to reach every part of the body. What are the functions of these organs? Drag and drop the organ in the organ column. The stomach receives the bolus of macerated food from the esophagus. Mixing and partial digestion of the food produces a pulpy fluid mix that passes into the intestine for further digestion and absorption. The leaf is one of the most important parts of the plant because it is the one which is in charge of accomplishing the processes of photosynthesis, respiration, and transpiration. Flowers function as sexual reproductive parts that are involved in the production of seeds. The kidney removes waste products through the urine, controls the amount of water that stays in the body, and maintains the chemical balance of the body. An artery functions to serve as a conducting vessel that allows blood to move away from the heart towards other organs of the body. Organs play an important role in multicellular organisms. When organs coordinate and work together to carry out a particular function, it becomes a system. Our body is made up of many systems, such as circulatory system, skeletal system, muscular system, and reproductive system, just to name a few. Can you name some of the organs that make up these systems? Select the corresponding organs to complete the respiratory system, digestive system, and the skeletal system. Well done. The respiratory system consists of nasal cavity, larynx, trachea, bronchus, and lungs. The digestive system consists of the esophagus, stomach, liver, pancreas, small intestines, and large intestines. Well done. The skeletal system consists of the skull, scapula, sternum, humerus, radius, ulna, phalanges, pelvic girdle, femur, patella, tibia, and fibula. Multicellular organisms are bigger in size compared to unicellular organisms. They cannot depend on diffusion of nutrients and oxygen from the exterior of the cells for their needs. By having cell specialization, there is a division of labor, and the life processes can be carried out to its maximum efficiency. Specialization refers to the changes in a cell that enable the cell to carry out a certain function well. Cells are specialized and grouped together to form tissues. Different tissues are organized into organs. A system coordinates the various organs so that a particular function is carried out smoothly.